Hey, guy, you want to hear a cool song?
No.
Are you sure?
You really don't.
I feel like you do, guy.
You kind of do.
You do?
Yeah.
I'm sucking on a gremlin filled with juice. I think that's the lyrics.
That's a pretty good song.
Sucking on a gremlin filled with juice? I think so, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to hear that song, you can hear it at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
It's going to blast into your ear holes like a gremlin blasts into an engine. Right?
Does he blast? I mean, he doesn't have blasters, guy.
He's blasting. He's definitely blasting something.
He's got finger blasters.
Look, guy, have you ever wanted to see a movie where gremlins do what they're actually, like, supposed to do?
Yeah.
You know that thing that they never show gremlins doing in movies?
Yeah.
Right? You'd think that you have a movie about gremlins, they'll be fucking around with fucking planes the whole damn time.
That's their thing, right?
Yeah, but at most you get a few seconds of plane fucking.
Yeah.
And then the rest is like, guys, just spilled water on this dude. What the hell? Anyway.
I feel like you're mixing up your gremlins, guys.
Look, man, somebody finally made a movie about gremlins up in the air fucking with planes. And I'm talking a movie. I know there's like Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. And yeah, technically they remade that story into a story that's in a movie. But that's a story in a movie. That's not the whole movie. That's what we're getting with Shadow in the Cloud. A whole fucking movie about a gremlin fucking with a plane. Or are we? You know, as any other movie, there's a bunch of stuff in it. Does it work? We'll talk about it. Now, if you haven't heard about Shadow in the Cloud, it's, well, I don't blame you, first of all, because, like, this was a thing? Yeah, Shadow in the Cloud, apparently produced by Redbox.
And so 10 million other people as you're going to sit through 50 logos in the beginning.
The Redbox and the fact that it's shared by 10 million other people, production credits, gives you that idea that this was never going to go to theater. And if it was going to be very limited. Mm-hmm. And it kind of shows, to be honest with you, there's kind of like that, you know, not low quality, but obviously like they spit shine a turd look to it a little bit. You know, it's a little bit like, it doesn't feel like a high quality production, the look, but there's higher quality production than your average direct to video fare. So it's kind of in the middle, you know. And unfortunately, because this is kind of pulpy material, that look kind of benefits it every now and then. At times it even kind of looks really cool. But yeah, it's you could see that this was going to go either direct to video or direct to a streaming service or whatever. But anyway, it got pooped out in the middle of, or at the end of 2020 or beginning of 2021 because COVID. So now they can claim it was theatrical. Maybe. I don't know. Who cares? The point is, we get a movie where...
It's a weird focus on certain things.
We get a movie where fucking Max Landis writes, you know, a World War II gremlin thing, you know. This woman, played by Chloë Grace Moretz, a.k.a. the Clomo, a.k.a. the Fridge. She's, you know, she goes under the auspices of being on a secret mission on this plane, on this fighter plane, full of a bunch of dudes that immediately...
They're definitely dudes.
They're definitely guys. We'll talk about that, but anyway, and she's kind of relegated into a portion of the plane that's what do they call that area? The turret, fucking bubble,
yeah,
whatever
it has a name, but I don't know what it is. You know that little thing that you see in the Star Wars?
Yeah, the Star Wars bubble. You know. Anyway, she's relegated there because you know she's a woman apparently, and two, they don't trust her. And as that turns out, there's ulterior motives to why she's there. And she's carrying a package that is deemed top secret or what have you. Insert intrigue. Of course, with all this, we introduced an extra element that they're being chased by enemy planes. And that there's a gremlin on board.
Mad gremlin.
In a lot of ways, this is kind of just like reframing Nightmare at 20,000 Feet on a World War II plane. And instead of being an old fuck nobody believes, it's a chick nobody believes. Because chick. Because dizzy dames.
Yeah, dastardly dames even.
So,
she's giving off real goonish vibes there.
Yeah, really goonish. So here's the thing, okay? I didn't pre-watch this. I usually pre-watch movies so that I can spare you at least some turds. I didn't pre-watch this one, so we both went in cold. And so let's see what's up. I'm going to tell you right now that I feel that this movie has cool stuff in it. There's cool stuff peppered throughout this movie, and we'll talk about what that cool stuff is, but it also has a lot of heavy-handed, unnecessary nonsense that bogs it down, and it doesn't bog it down to the point where it kills the viewing experience unless you're particularly offended by that particular stuff. But it certainly doesn't benefit it as a story, as a narrative. So my overall impression at the beginning now of this review is that though there are elements that I like, I feel that this movie could have been made into a much better movie by someone else directing it.
Damn,
and that's not to say that the director, I forgot her name, Roseanne something,
Hayden,
is bad. It's just that I feel that a director with more of a style and a voice could have been, we're not doing that, we're doing this instead, and it's gonna, and would have made some of the conceits of the script, like having a person, having like the first half of it basically be just you, the viewer, and one person stuck in one location, could have made that work a lot better than this director did. Not for lack of trying. What's your impression at the beginning here?
I'm not gonna mad lie. I really like this movie.
Did you?
Like a lot. I do agree with you that the man stuff.
Well, we haven't discussed that, so we actually discussed that in a former take.
You did mention it though.
We'll talk about that.
Is the only thing that I could agree is kind of mad lame, because it does go on a little too long, and there isn't really much depth to it. But I like it.
So let's talk about that. Here it seems, it happened before, but it seems that ever since the Ghostbusters 2016 fiasco, if there's any movie with a woman lead where she's shown being strong or capable or whatever, there's a particular faction of dudes that get angry about that, and they're like, oh man, all the dudes are stupid, and only the chick can do things right, and this and that. That's generally the thrust of it, and they go from there. Sometimes that's true and sometimes that's not, has been our consensus. Sometimes it's even acceptable given the material, whatever. And I feel like in this movie, it could have been acceptable given the times. 1943 was not a great time for women. I think we can agree. And there certainly is, even to this day, a form of community amongst men where we kind of disregard women. And I think they could have touched that in just the right light. But they generally made all the men in this movie, except for one, and I guess two by default of that guy just being another guy that all the other people hated. They just made all the men the same character. And they go on and on and on repeating the same fucking shit. And this could have been great if done the right way. It's just so repetitive. And the sad part is that it's stuck in the middle of stuff that could legitimately be interesting. We have our main character, Chloë Grace Moretz's character, stuck in one of these turret bubbles. Yeah. The Star War, I think you called it. She's stuck in this one location. So the first half of the movie or so is literally the audience and this person, and all that goes on with the men you hear through her point of view, through the comm system. And this is an interesting way to approach the material. I think that's really cool way. I just think that the script plus the direction didn't really do anything interesting with the content. I'm not saying they shouldn't have put that idea that men could be misogynist, men could be condescending. That's fine.
It goes on a little too long.
And there's no nuance to it. You know,
it's just like dudes being like, "Yeah, I want to bang that."
Yeah, and like, that broad, and it's either she's hot and I want to bang that, or she's hysterical, or I hate her just period because she's a broad.
Yeah,
and they just parrot it over and over and over, and it just sucks. That part sucks. I don't care if dudes get blasted up the ass for being assholes. We are assholes at times that way. The point is that it has to be interesting characters, or at least fun characters that you could laugh at getting fucked over in the end. They're just lame. They're just lame, repetitive jerks. And you're like, that sucks. Because that also kind of affects Chloë Moretz's character, because she doesn't have much to do other than be frustrated with cardboard cutout versions of these misogynist dudes. If there was a little bit more nuance in them, if there were a little bit more credibility in the range of the type of characters there are, then this could have been remedied. But as it is, it's just her listening, and thus you, the audience, listening to these dumbasses very incredulously just repeat the same bullshit over and over again. Now we look at the news and we see like these Trumpite guys that just repeat the same thing over and over again. But then there's that Trumpite guy and that Trumpite guy, and there's something between them, you know, that's different at least. There's no difference in these characters. They're just the same thing going over and again.
I kind of disagree with that. I do think that there is difference in the characters, and that kind of ends up unfolding more as the movie goes along. But I will agree that early on, it does become very repetitive, and you're like, come on, guy. Say something else at least.
I feel the only difference is that one is a condescending guy, one is obsessed with the women just being hysterical, and the other one is just sexualizing the woman. I feel like that's the only, but that's my personal take on it. But yes, at the end of the day, it just goes on incessantly with that, and I think that's to its detriment. Now, Chloe Grace herself, that stuff, the idea of this woman being stuck in one location and not being believed because of the circumstances, that's cool. But again, I think it's a little bit affected, but that's kind of the only thing that kept me interested on top of the intrigue of what she was carrying with her, this top secret thing. But there is a point in the movie where the action, as it were, or the narrative pulls you out of that one location elsewhere. And I feel like this is kind of the movie they should have made through and through. You know, something a little cheeky, something a little over the top. Something fun that goes to its pulpy style and look. You know, the movie looks very pulpy. And they could have still kept those themes there. And it wouldn't have felt so heavy-handed and we get it. Those guys suck. I agree. They're acting sucky. Can we, move on? They could have done that. So I feel like either one, this movie could have been shorter, or two, they could have maybe trimmed that shit down and gotten to the other stuff quicker.
Yeah, it could have probably been trimmed.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, it didn't really bother me too much. Mainly because all I could see was people crying about this shit. And I was kind of laughing about it. Because I was like, damn, homie, you know there's some crybaby ass dudes crying about this shit.
And yeah, you know... yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I didn't mind it too much because I kind of got what it was doing, and I did find the stuff with Chloe interesting. So it was more like a level, like another annoyance for the character, not necessarily for me. You know what I mean? Because I was so interested in what she was doing in the cockpit, whatever, Star Wars. So it didn't bother me too much. But I do agree that it could have been mad cut down, because there is points where you're like, all right, we get it, guy.
Yeah, it just all right, you played this one, you know. And again, that's a ballsy move to make a movie where you have your character in one spot for the bulk of the movie. I was kind of afraid that this movie was just going to stay in one spot because, you know, at least I reached that point where I was like, all right, come on, guy. You got to do something new with these characters because this shit ain't flying. And they do. But there's movies, say, like Buried, where a guy is literally in a coffin the whole movie. And that director managed to make it intense, managed to make it harrowing, managed to make a man talking over a CB interesting and hair-raising. And there was twists and turns that could decide his life or death at all times. And it was engaging, and there was nuance. There was a possibility for characters to turn on someone, and maybe they don't. Maybe they side with you. Never felt that throughout this movie. The only tension I felt was the fact that she's stuck in a bubble and now it's falling apart. And like I said, at that point, I think the movie does pick up, and I feel like, you know, it's fun at that point. The movie, you know, we have, frankly, some pretty ridiculous action that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh, come on. We just sat there that, and now we're going to see this ridiculous action. But I think the ridiculousness fits what's going on here. It's a fucking
mad gremlin
plane with a gremlin on it, you know? I think it's pretty bonkers and crazy. The gremlin's kind of fucking cute, to be honest with you. And he's not the focus of everything that's going on. There's also the Japanese. And at this point, we begin to see at least some of the men show a little bit something different. Not much, but a little bit. And more importantly, we get the main character doing things that demonstrate her worthiness, which I get as a film viewer, you understand that her worthiness is going to be shown eventually. But given the constant, like, dudes just being like dicks and her yeah, I want to see the worthiness. So yeah, and she's pretty cool. She's a pretty cool character. I like the character, and when she was doing stuff, it was interesting, either in or out of the bubble. So I feel at that point the movie becomes something else, and it's pretty cool. You want to add anything to that or oppose? Excuse me.
No, I mean, though I disagree with the mad hate of this film, I do agree with you that it's pretty one note, the shit with the dudes. I do think that there was an attempt to try to make it a little more deep, because there is a point where she kind of tells her story and you can see a different side to them, but it comes a little too late, and by that point you're like, all right, okay, we get it. These dudes lick. Thankfully for me, I was at least entertained up to that point with what she was doing outside of talking to the people. Otherwise, yeah, this would have been a stinker for me. But yeah, I agree that once she starts doing shit, though ridiculous, the movie starts looking cooler, weirdly.
Yeah.
And it's just fun after that point. And you get more Graham action, which is always good.
And the weird aforementioned kind of polish to this movie, that cheapo kind of like high budget direct to video look, here's where the movie benefits. There's shots also in when she's just in the bubble that benefit from it. But here's where it kind of benefits the most, because it looks like pulp magazine covers, It's that overly stylized lighting, and there's kind of like a somewhere between reality and utter and complete fantasy look to it. I think that part of the movie benefits the most from it. And on top of the redonkulous shit that's going on and the cute-ass gremlin. I think there's one thing that we'll both agree is pretty dope in this movie, and that's the score.
Mad tunes, dude!
We got like a cool little synthy score going on here, which harkens more to like 80s style movies. So, but kind of like the fact that we're used to the 80s style of that, kind of like pseudo-futuristic look with, or at least post-apocalyptic look with synth scores, to have it here in the background of a 1943 style war movie is pretty cool, man. It makes for an interesting blend.
I really like the score. I think that there is some cool like style stuff in the beginning. Just the way she's introduced to the viewer, and this kind of weird like shit appearing, all this stuff that they do visually in the beginning. Even the way they introduce the characters, in this weird kind of black room with the lighting is cool, but it kind of goes away for a long time. You know what I mean? The cool style up until the action kind of kicks off, which is unfortunate, because I really like that, and I think it fits the music really well.
Yeah.
Weirdly. So it would have been cool to see more of that. Unfortunately, it just kind of goes away for a while.
Yeah, what he's referencing is whenever our main character is in this isolated bubble, she can only hear the men through the comm system. So in her mind's eye, she imagines the men in like kind of like this void. And yeah, stylistically it's cool, but it's literally a thing they do like once and then touch upon like a couple more times real briefly down. Yeah, I feel like the director could have done a lot with that, and it cost nothing to do.
That could have really added to it, especially later on when, later on when it's, because early on it's not, at least to me, it wasn't super clear that that's what she's seeing, you know what I mean? Because they just introduced the characters like that, and it's like this weird color and void. But later on, it becomes clear that's basically what she's thinking, right? They could have really done a lot more with that. And they do occasionally. There's like parts where there's like a little scuffle in the thing and she's picturing up there. Yeah. And that's cool. But
I feel like this could have been a way for them to really color these characters and give them something more besides these by rote, we're asshole dialogue sequences.
Yeah, because really in the movie you only see the dudes like a couple times.
Yeah.
The rest of the time you're just listening to them, and that would have been a really good way to do it. A cheap, like you said, a really cheap way to do it.
Yeah, they could have done a lot, man. But it's pretty clear that they're trying to make a point. And I don't know if Max Landis wrote this after his controversy, his Me Too controversy. But if he did, it makes sense. Because now he's just like virtue signaling in this movie. Like, hey, look at women are super cool and guys are complete dicks. It kind of feels like he wrote this after his controversy. And I get it. He wants to clear his name. Whatever. Make a good script, guy. I'm not saying it's a total waste because he is a talented guy, but yeah. Just like that stuff. That would have been a great way to color these characters and give them a little bit more depth. You know, not everybody is just this. There's other elements. There's a reason why they're that. They could have explored that. And when she comes out and sees these characters again, there's brief moments where they interact where you see something else, but then they're dead the next moment. So you're like, okay, you know, all right, I guess they're dead now. So, yeah, you know, cool. Now, can Chloë Moretz pull off a one-woman show? Yes, she can. She's a very capable actress. I just feel they don't really give her enough to work off here in terms of the other people. But in terms of the weird stuff happening in the action, she's pretty cool to look at, man. If there's somebody that can pull off a convincing
Dame
fight and a dame, it's Chloë. She's been doing it since she was a kid, you know?
Even though she does give off goonish vibes.
Or rather goonish, I would think. I never thought I wanted to see Chloë fight a gremlin more in my life than I did by the time this movie ended. And it's kind of worth the price of entrance. You know, to see her kick a gremlin's ass and what's got to be the stupidest scene in this movie. She
mad teleports too.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid, but it's entertaining, and I feel like the movie missed the opportunity to be that the whole time. It could still say its message and be that at the same time, but you know, whatever. You take one with the other. The effects, pretty good all around. You know, they make pretty good use of their budget, which clearly was low.
I gotta give mad kudos to that gremlin. It's surprisingly good looking.
Especially, oddly enough, and maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't, it looks the best when it's in broad daylight.
Yeah, it's
weird. Which is unusual.
Yeah, you're right. Especially like when she's on that island, when she's gonna go mad hand to hand to him.
Yeah.
He looks surprisingly good. For a CG character, he's like a fully CG character, I assume. They didn't use any close-up shit. It just looks like CG the whole time. But it's really good CG, especially for the budget.
Yeah.
And there isn't a huge amount of gremlin in this. So you never get to see... It never gets to the point where you're like, all right, it's just a blob of CG now. So that's good. Though I could have done with maybe a little more gremlin in the early bits, just because, you're right, those dudes do lick balls.
Yeah. So, there you go. Anything you want to add? Maybe something I missed?
I'm thinking. Oh, yeah. I gotta say, though I like the score quite a bit, especially that song that's used throughout, I gotta give mad hate to that end themed music.
Credits music. What the hell, man?
What was it? Gremlin Suck His Ball or whatever?
I already forgot what it was. It was that shitty.
It was bad. It was bad, and they also, like, show all this, like, this footage of like chicks being cool and WW2, which I get it happened, but that's the moment where I was like, all right, guy, I got it. You don't have to keep going with this.
That I didn't mind because that was like actually showing stuff that happened. That'd be getting kind of. Again, it didn't destroy the movie, but I was like, man, these characters though, they're not characters, you know. But Chloë for the save, I guess. Oh, by the way.
There's a mad baby that's invincible in this.
That's what I was about to say, man. I was gonna give a spoiler alert, you fool.
Mad.
Kept that in the fucking dark all this time.
Mad invincible baby. He's definitely not what's in the bag.
Yeah. So there you go. If you made it this far, well then, congrats, because we just ruined it. Yep. But anyway, the point is, there's a mad baby in there, and technically he should be jammed by the end.
Yeah.
But again, you know, I feel like some people will be like, come on, guy, that baby should be dead. And I feel if the movie had been like just a romp from the get-go, those people would not complain about it. If I was a little bit more fucking anal, I would have definitely been like, come on, boy, that kid's dead. But the movie, again, had already by that point jumped into, you know, the realm of like just entertainment, or primarily entertainment, I should say. So I was like, yeah, you know. He's going to live, obviously, baby.
Yeah, he should have died, though. I do think that there's some cool like visual stuff in here. I'm not gonna lie. I like the part. I mean, obviously, I just mentioned all that kind of weird style shit, but I like the part where she's in the plane.
You just reminded me of that fat chick that's like, I ain't gonna lie, and the other one's like, what's wrong with me? Look at your fatness. You little, I'm not gonna lie, guy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, we say that literally all the time, so I don't know why I just remember.
Because I barely saw that clip, guy. Anyway.
You saw it like a week ago, guy.
Nah, guy.
Anyway,
barely.
we're saying guy too much.
Oh yeah.
You just derailed me completely, guy. Anyway, I like the movie, so I guess there you go.
All right, so this is a movie that came out. I don't know what. I don't think anybody's really gonna give a shit about this movie. Maybe
I've seen mad love for it. I'm not gonna lie.
Damn, homie.
On
I'm not gonna lie. Things now, like I can't unimagine that chick.
Stop, guy.
I can't. Anyway, fucking. I don't know.
I knew nothing about this. I didn't freaking really know anything other than it was a Gremlin and Chloë. So I didn't have any pre-thoughts. And I really enjoyed it. Though I did notice that stuff being kind of lacking.
I didn't know anything about it either. And I enjoyed like half of it. And though I didn't hate the other half, I was like mad. Like, oh, this is... Move on with this fucking shit already, guy. It's repetitive, you know. Which is unfortunate because I didn't want it to be. I wanted to like that first half, man. And there was a way to make that enjoyable. And they just made it kind of like a thing that I noticed. Again, not unenjoyable, just a thing that was like, all right. Anyway, I don't know what this is gonna do as far as the Max Landis factor plays in. I don't think he's gonna get any brownie points for this.
Nah, homie.
Which clearly he was trying to do.
Yeah.
But you know, it is a movie that he made or that he wrote, and I'll say that as far as movies that he wrote, this is not hitting on the top for sure. Definitely hitting the bottom. So I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it like a 4.
Damn, homie.
You know, I feel it's entertaining, but I don't feel it's a good movie, and I definitely don't feel that first half, man, or I should say, you know the half we talked about, the part we talked. I don't know if it's half or not, but sure as hell felt like a lot of the movie, because it's just flat. You know what I'm saying? Which is a shame. But that entertaining stuff is entertaining, and I wonder what this movie would have been if it just went full on with the pulpy goodness, man. I bet you I would have given it like a fucking 8 or a 9 maybe, or whatever. But as it is, I'll give it a 4.
Damn, homie. I knew you were gonna mad hate though, because all I saw was this.
I do that all the time with fucking
homie.
tons of movies, guys.
Nah, homie.
Remember that time you were like, oh, I thought you were gonna mad hate, and I gave the fucking movie like a 9, and that was your claim?
Nah, homie. You were like mad in your seat, crossing the arms. Dr. Dre was there having brain aneurysms and shit. I was like, damn, homie. Did you hear about that?
Huh?
Dre had.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, you're Draying the whole time. Anyway, I'll give it like a mad 6. I don't think it's a great movie. I agree with most of what you say, though it didn't really bother me, and I did find that first half to go pretty quick.
Well, let me make this clear. It doesn't bother me in terms of what it was trying to do. It bothers me in terms of the way it was written. It just sucks. The characters suck. They're not interesting. They don't do anything other than repeat the same bullshit over and over again. And I want ass characters to feel like they got their comeuppance at the end. And this was like, oh, he's dead. We don't have to hear that shit again. Which is unfortunate. So no, I don't feel I was, like you say, bothered or whatever. I was just like,
anyway,
riding lick.
It didn't bother me. I didn't get ass hurt like old Ahab here.
Definitely not ass hurt.
I wasn't like, oh, I hate all women the whole time.
Where did that come from, guy?
I don't know, dude. I heard it.
No,
I heard it under your breath. You were like, but I do agree. So I'll give it like a mad 6. I really enjoyed it, man.
I thought you were giving like a 10. You were all like, oh, you hate it.
No, I do agree with you with that it is kind of poorly written in the beginning. But I do think Chloë kind of carries it. And I was very...
Look, I'm a Chloëite.
I was very interested in her character to the point that I was kind of like, all right, I get what these characters are. They're just kind of there to be antagonists or whatever. And it didn't really bother me.
I'm a Chloëite. I've seen way too many Chloëite films. That's right, they're Chloëites.
Oh, Chloëite? She's got mites?
And she's good. She's a great actress, as she can be great. It's just this material sucks for her in that particular portion. And even in the latter half, it's not good material because it's still like super like heavy-handed with what it's saying, but it's fun at least. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel the whole movie should have been, fun, so that fun in the way the last half is, so that it could say what it wanted and not kind of feel like a chore. But I don't know. I may be in the minority here.
Nah.
You know, it is what it is. But there you go. Tell us what you thought about A Shadow in the Cloud. Coincidentally,
That's what they call my culo.
just laid a little cloud myself. No shadows in it, though.
Not Dookie?
No, homie.
Not Nick Cicato's ass?
Damn. Nick Cicato's ass is one of the worst things ever, guy. It's so gross, the ass. Okay. Don't look up Nick Cicado Avocado's ass, please. Anyway, let us know what you think about Nick Cicado Avocado's ass. Rated on a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, homie, what the hell?
And that's that, guy.
Yeah.
We're out.
Top 10 asses?
Top 10 culos. Definitely not his.
What was that Gremlin song?
I forgot the Gremlin song, guy.
we gotta go out with a Gremlins.
Yeah, that's worse than that.
Anyway, bye.